Well, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And it's officially ugly, guys. It's not good. It wasn't pretty. Devils lose on the island tonight, falling to the Islanders by a score of 5-1, falling to 0-4 on the preseason. And wow. Oh, wow. I've been waiting to see the varsity club. I wanted to see close to a full roster. And tonight we got it. This is as close to the full roster as we're going to get before Prague. And there's lots of stuff to kind of get to here. The first thing is we find out Amanda puts out the pad earlier today, the infamous pad, and we see a top line of Timo Meier, Paul Cotter, Jesperbratt, followed up by Tatar, Hischier, Mercer, Palat, Hall, and Nason, Foot, Lazar, Bastian, and then the D pairings of Dylan Hamilton, Siegenthaler, Kovacevic, Zboril, and Nemec with Jake Allen in the net. And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't see Hughes on there. Where is Jack? Jack Hughes is not playing. And I'm like, okay, so he played one game the other night, scored a goal, and this was supposed to be the dress rehearsal for the real team before they go to Prague. No Jack Hughes. And right on cue, Paul Cotter. It might already be rest in peace, meat line. You had a good run. I kind of thought that Cotter was going to get his chances. Tonight he did. They have him slotted between Bratt and Meier on the top line in Jack's absence, and it could be the end of the meat line. Who knows? But I do think we're going to see Cotter. We saw him with another line later in the game. We switched it up a little bit before we saw a meat line. But Cotter's going to be all over the place, I think, until some lines finally stick. But unfortunately, tonight, there's not much good to take away from a night like tonight. Again, we waited through the first three games, saw a lot of minor leaguers, and tonight was the night where we saw most of our NHL roster, and it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty at all. And, you know, I hate to be negative and dwell in negativity, but I'm starting to feel like this season is already off to a little bit of a cursed start. And it's not just because of the preseason record, so don't take that the wrong way. It's not because of the preseason record. It's because these weird injuries and this injury cloud is still hanging over us. If you really think about it, right? It's like, okay, so Jack wasn't playing tonight. Is that just giving him extra rest because he played one game, or is he not fully kind of recovered from his off-season rehabilitation stint after surgery, or did he possibly re-aggravate something in the last game? I have no idea, but I have to believe he's not 100% one way or another. And then you just kind of go back to where it all started, and about a month ago or whatever it was, we find out Šimon Nemec injured in the Slovakian Olympic qualifying game. And they're like, oh, we don't really know, blah, blah, blah. It seemed like he was kind of week to week. He missed a couple days of camp. After the Šimon Nemec news, we find out in the freakiest way possible that Luke Hughes is in a freaking sling, nursing some kind of arm, shoulder, whatever it is, injury, shoulder, from God knows what. They said it was a off-season training thing, but in the end, who knows? I don't know when they're going to plan on telling everyone. I guess at training camp, when Luke wasn't on the ice, but he's in the background of a Bussin' with the Boys video, and some eagle-eye sleuth on the internet spots him in the background. It gets posted on the internet, goes wild. The Devils are forced to acknowledge it and release a statement regarding the injury. And then camp opens up, and it's like, oh, wait, newly signed defenseman in free agency, Brett Pesce, actually also had a surgery in the offseason, and he's not fully healed up yet. And you're like, wait a minute, we signed him, like, no one said anything about this, and all of a sudden, like, oh, he's recovering from a surgery. And then Eric Halla comes down with some kind of flu or sickness during training camp. He's not on the ice at all, doesn't play in any preseason games. And so you just start looking at all these things. And it's one after another. And then the guy that I think a lot of people and the coaching staff alike had earmarked to replace Luke Hughes in Hadaka, he gets injured too, and we don't really know his status because that's the way we treat injuries. So it doesn't seem like, from the way Keefe was talking, that Hadaka is going to be available for opening night in Prague. So it's just one weird thing after the next. Is Jack Hughes healthy? It's just a lot of questions, and I'm not freaking out just yet. We do have a lot of depth, and I think we could be okay. But I think we are going to have a real test ahead of us, and it's going to be a rocky road of October because we might start off. It's possible we start off in Prague without either Hughes brother. Who saw that coming? I mean, wow. And then we could possibly be without Pesci, and who knows who else at this point. So, you know, it wasn't good tonight. It wasn't good at all. Like I said, the injury thing seems to be a cloud over us, and the Islanders got some great goals tonight. I mean, great chances, breakaways. Allen didn't play good. And there's not much positive to take away from a night like tonight, I'm not going to lie. And if this is what the team looks like at nearly full strength minus Jack Hughes, well, we're in trouble because tonight was very – it should have been alarming. Granted, now, I hate to, again, just keep throwing it out there. Preseason is meaningless, but we're now 0-4, and in the first game that we really put out a real NHL roster, we looked like crap. And that's it. So the next time these boys will be on the ice together will be about a week from now in Prague, opening up the season against the Buffalo Sabres in the Global Series. And it is absolutely frightening because as of this point, to me, there is no definitive lines, really, because I saw nothing to warrant, anything staying together. I mean, everything is still in an audition phase at this point. And now the first few games of the season are going to be what preseason should have looked like, in my opinion, where you're tinkering with lines. I mean, obviously, it goes on throughout the season all the time, but you would like to have a little bit more of an identity and be gelling a little bit more heading into the season than we are. And it's not good. It's absolutely not good. I'm not pulling the alarm anytime soon. It's super early. Like I said, we do have depth. This is only the preseason, but in our first game with the real guys, it's not the effort you want to see or the result. Devils never in the game. The only takeaway I have from this, honestly, is, Timo Meier needs to be on the power play and on the right side. I mean, that's basically, a foundation core belief of this channel at this point, and a lot of you guys on here. Timo on the right, he scored on the power play from the right side. This is not rocket science. We saw last year the differences. Timo needs to stay on the right. But, wow, I'm just looking at some notes here. Mercer rang one off the post mid-first period, a really nice one-timer that he almost snuck in, threw his head back in disbelief when it rang off the post. It was a beautiful shot. It would have been really nice to get it, and it was at a big juncture of the game as well, while it still was a game. Johnny Mac's kid, Kyle McLean, breakaway goal, nice one, beats Allen. Horvat had a cannon blast. I mean, their guys were just gelling tonight. We were not looking good. I'm trying to think anything else. It's just dejecting, honestly. Somehow they're expected to turn the corner and just kind of turn it on right away when we get to Prague, and it's not a good feeling. 0-4, not much to be proud of in any facet of the game, really. Offense, defense, special teams, goaltending, nothing was great. Yeah, we got a power play goal, but, big deal. This game was just an absolute disaster for the most part, and the team can't be feeling good heading into Prague in the Global Series. Obviously, a big win on opening night would, hopefully send them in the right direction, but for me to go limping into the actual season with an effort like this is just nauseating. I feel sick. I hope I'm just, again, I'm not totally freaking out over this, but it's if you're not concerned at this point, then you're just in denial of what's going on here. Yeah, one game with the real team, but nothing to kind of cling hope to. It was not pretty. I fully suspect we're going to be much better during the regular season, but this is not how you want to go in. We'll look at the game stats. Shots on goal, Devils with 25, Islanders with 17. What an awful night for Jake Allen and his stats, huh? 50% dead even in the face-off percentage. Devils 1 for 4 on the power play for 25%. Islanders 2 for 5, 40%. And this can't be right. They have 1 hit for the Devils and 6 for the Islanders. I feel like there was way more hits than that. I don't know if this is either an error on the NHL site or, the game ended a while ago, so I have to believe it's not an error, and that maybe UBS Arena is the hardest rink in the NHL to get credit for a hit, because it is a subjective stat that they keep. 1 hit to 6. I would love for someone to explain that to me. I remember vividly several hits, including one where I think it was Bratt and Mercer, or 2 guys at once. I forget who it was. Maybe I don't know. The 2 guys crunched someone at once. It was a beautiful little play there, but I can't see that being true. Block shots, Devils with 6, Islanders with 18. Giveaways, Devils with 28, Islanders with 19. And takeaways, Devils with 2, Islanders with 7. You know, they out-hit us, out-blocked us, gave it away less, and took it away more with less shots on goal. But, wow, what an awful night. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments. Like I said, just to clarify, yes, it is the preseason. I'm not making the biggest deal about it, but it is somewhat discouraging when the first game your real team or something very close to it is out there on the ice that we look awful. I mean, just it has to at least be a little concerning to you guys. And then there's going to be the people on the extreme. There's going to be both extremes. I know how the crowd typically goes. There's going to be people that are just going to keep saying it's preseason. It means nothing till the very death, no matter what, which I think is, wrong a little bit in one direction. And then there's going to be the people that are like, the world is crumbling. We're awful. We're missing the playoffs. Fire everybody. The season's a disaster. And then there's going to be the people in that extreme, which I think are wrong also. I think the reality of the situation lies somewhere in the middle, in that it is the preseason. It is meaningless, but you never want to see these kind of results. And it is, at a minimum, a cause for concern. That's it. That's it. I'm not completely dismissing it, and I'm not putting all the stock in the world into it. It's somewhere in the middle, in that you do want to see better results than this. Throughout the preseason, a lot of teams aren't playing their best guys every night, and a lot of you guys have said that it is, kind of backups versus backups, and I don't put a ton of stock into that. But when you see now close to the NHL roster come out with an effort like this, it's really upsetting. Really upsetting, and now we're not going to see this real team again until Prague. Throw it out there in the comments. What did you think about this game? What do you think about all of this? I mean, let me see if I have any other notes here. I mean, it was just painful. It was absolutely painful, and it got away from us in the first period, essentially. I mean, wow. We almost went into the intermission down 2-0, but then Horvat had that bomb on the power play with 16 seconds left, 3-0 first intermission. That's pretty much game over. And that's it. Wow. Depressing night. Throw everything out there in the comments. I'm just disgusted right now, honestly. It's just, and now we have to wait a week to see the real team again, and we'll have 3 more preseason games. That'll be a lineup comprised of all Utica guys and maybe some of the PTO guys. But wow. Disgusting night. Was hoping to see a much better effort and a much different result. It was not to be, and now this group goes into Prague with not much really to feel good about, in my opinion. The only good thing is that it's the preseason, doesn't count, and it's going to be over for those guys. Fresh slate, but wow, terrible. Throw it all out there in the comments. Thank you for watching. I love talking to you all. I'll be back soon with a bunch of stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.